the ongoing fun of the Trans-Siberian was never really having any clue what time it is.
And explain why. Explain why.
Well, because the trains all operate on Moscow time. So as you get, and all the the timetables in the train cars give you the times in Moscow time. So as you get further and further away from Moscow, like I did because I was heading to the east, the times just make less and less sense. But you sort of have to be aware of both, because you want to know when the train is going to stop for 30 minutes so you can get out and stretch your legs or whatever. But and you're also going into night. The day is sort of getting shorter and shorter as you go, so that's throwing you off. And it's just very, very confusing. And everyone seems to be confused by it. The Russians, as much as anyone.
Huh. Were the trains running on time according to the schedule?
Yeah, the Russian trains were almost perfectly on time. I can't think of any of them that were late. The other trains I was on were late, but not the Russian ones.
Interesting. Well, the Trans-Siberian route is not a high-speed train, as I recall.
No, I think it averages 40 miles an hour. That's not a joke. I really think that's the average speed.
No, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, one, I don't know how it was in the winter. I'd be curious to know. But in the summer, the landscape was sort of striking, but then it was the same again and again and again, and you really feel that it's like I'm going slower than I would be going in a car on this trip.
Oh yeah. You feel the slowness, absolutely, and the landscape, it changes so slowly. It's not really until you get to, and I think in the winter it was probably even worse, just because everything was covered in snow. And it's not until you get to maybe past Lake Baikal that the land starts to get a little hillier and more forested. But for the most part, it's just, I just saw flat snow for days.
Did you bring reading, or how did you pass your time from moment to moment?
Yeah, I had my Kindle, so lots and lots of reading. It was the most reading I've done in a very long time, and that part was awesome. It was sort of exactly what I was hoping for. No internet, nothing to do. It takes all of the choices away from you that you would have to make in a day. And you're sort of left to, like you say in your story, look out the window, take naps, get up and walk back and forth through the hall. And that's kind of it. It really is that simple on the train.
I can see this almost being a sub-aspect of the bucket list train trip, is that not only are you taking a classic world journey, but you can also, all the books, you can find 10 books you've been meaning to read for years, and literally it's not competing with the trip. That literally the train is so slow and the landscape is so uniform that it's not like you're wasting your trip by reading books, that it actually integrates into the journey itself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the days sort of turn into, I don't know, like the closest thing I can think of is like what my dog's days look like. You take a lot of naps and then you wake up for a little while, you eat, and you read. That's sort of it. It's kind of amazing in how simple it is to do for days on end. And it got to the point where towards the end of the trip, I was really looking forward to getting back on the train if I was in a city somewhere, because it's really, I don't know, it's calming, it's meditative, it's really relaxing not to have to make a single decision. Yeah, it's nice for sure in that way.
Yeah, in the connected age, it feels like the one way to sort of enforce isolation on yourself.